this is Christy. I wanted to talk a little bit about my flight to Korea today. I booked a prestige class because I'm super nervous when it comes to flying. I get a lot of flight anxiety, and I don't know, it just makes me very nervous, something that's just so out of your control. So I splurged and I decided to get the prestige class seats, which lay all the way back, which is super nice. So it takes about an hour for me to get to JFK from my house. My dad was kind enough to drive me, so we left the house around, I think it was around 9 a.m. Got there. Traffic was actually not too bad considering for Long Island. We got very lucky for a weekday. I think a lot of people probably took off because it was a Friday. So we got there relatively unscathed, passed by the new Belmont Arena for the Islanders, which I'm sure you saw in the beginning. Let's go Islanders. We're big Islanders fans. So that was really cool to see. Hopefully I'll be able to go to a game between my classes if I decide to go home. When I got to JFK, they're really, usually my experiences with airports in New York aren't 100% great. I mean, they're not very up to date. Nobody's nice in New York. That's just the way it is. They're usually overcrowded and it's just generally not a fun experience. But I got there, and I got there early. I got there even before the ticket counter opened, so I had a nice guy helping me carry my luggage, and he was waiting with me. We were having a nice chat, so shout out to him. He was awesome. A lady came around. I guess she was just like gathering info before everybody went to the check-in counter, just to make things go along quicker. And she was so confused by the fact that I didn't have a visa and I was going to Korea. She was like, she asked me like 3 times what my plan was. She didn't seem to grasp that I understood that I was going to be in a government quarantine facility for 2 weeks, or that like I didn't have somebody to stay with, and that it wasn't a good jump off point for the trip, but whatever, it was fine. I got to the check-in counter, gave them my luggage, which I usually, like I said in my previous video, I never check luggage, but because I have so much stuff, I decided to check my large suitcase and my small suitcase. I wanted to bring my small suitcase in case I wanted to do like quick weekends in a different city, or, you know, travel. At least I'd have luggage then. So I brought both of those, and I brought a backpack for my electronics, and I brought a big bucket type of pocketbook, which housed my actual pocketbook and like a bunch of the stuff I wanted to carry on, like my Switch and leggings to change into, and some books and my Kindle and stuff like that. So I checked in my 2 large pieces of luggage, the large and the slightly smaller one. Then I went through security, and there pretty much wasn't a line, which, oh my god, it was great. And even though there wasn't a line, they were still really like rushing you along, making sure you took everything out of your like backpack, all your tablets and stuff. They were still like screaming at you to make sure that everything was out of your bags, even though there was no line. That went by relatively quickly. I put everything back in my bag, and then I headed over to the lounge, which because I have the prestige ticket, I was able to go there for free. But I also have the Korean Air card, so I think twice a year with that you get free lounge vouchers. It was just really nice experience. When I went, I was like one of the first people in there, so it was very quiet. They had ramen that you could make, which I didn't have a chance to do, but it looked really good. I had a ham and cheese on a croissant, and it had a tomato too and some mayo on it. It was actually really delicious. So I had that, and I made myself a little Americano, and I played my Switch until it was time for me to go to my gate. I would say an hour before boarding, I went to my gate, or like maybe 40 minutes before boarding, I headed towards my gate. Again, the terminal there was like nobody there. For JFK, that is. I don't know, it was such a strange experience because usually you can't even find a place to sit when you go to the airport. But I found a place to sit like right in front of the gate. They announced everything in Korean, and like the volume was really low, so it was hard for me to hear when they like said the English part. So I kind of just acted like a sheep and got up when other people got up and went to the line that I like thought I was supposed to be on. But it worked out pretty well. I got to my seat. I got very lucky because there was nobody sitting next to me. So the way that the Prestige seats are is it's kind of like offset. So you have one seat here and then like one seat slightly ahead of them, divided by like a wall, and you can put the divider up and down. I was on the window seat and there was nobody sitting next to me, which was great. I was surprised because it seemed like a pretty full flight. There was 2 people in front of me, 2 people in back of me, 2 people to my side, so I just got lucky and there was nobody beside me. When I got on the flight, the safety announcement was very cute. They had a K-pop band, I wasn't sure which one, I wasn't familiar with them, do the little safety video, and they had a cute little character jump in at times too. It was adorable. And when I got onto the plane initially, like they were playing, what was it, Blueberry Eyes, and there was Dynamite. It was cute. So right away there's like some BTS. The flight attendants were all really, really nice and very accommodating. One of them accidentally gave me a Korean form at the end. And I was so confused. I spent like, I don't know, a half an hour looking at this form like, am I supposed to have this form? Am I supposed to know Korean? What do I do? Which I like can understand the alphabet, but I don't know the vocabulary really yet. Only like very basic stuff. So they were kind enough to give me the English version. Wasn't supposed to have the Korean version after all. So they gave us this cute eye mask, some toothpaste and a toothbrush, a little cologne, perfume, shoe horn, some lip balm, hand cream, face cream, some lotion, and some body lotion, and all came in this little cute reusable bag. I started off the flight watching Monster Hunter, and they gave us our meals. They started with prawns on a salad and some other kind of fish. I skipped that one because I don't like seafood, but they did have like pickled radishes with it, I believe, and I love those, so I ate those. After that, it was bibimbap, and she came over to me and she was like, oh, do you know how to do it? And I was like, yeah. I used to have that for lunch every single day when I was on campus at Stony Brook with my anthropology club friends, so I thought of all of those friends while I was eating. And I had some champagne, and after every course, like after lunch and then after dinner, they served like tea and coffee, so I got a nice mint tea to help me digest and like get to sleep and stuff like that. That was very nice. The food itself was actually really good. Oh, they also gave us dessert after lunch, and it was like a fruit plate and a little Haagen-Dazs. You could pick vanilla or chocolate, and I was torn because I really like both. It depends on my mood, so I felt like chocolate was the way to go that day, and it was really good. The dinner, what did they give us for an appetizer? I believe it was a salad appetizer. They gave you like an oil and balsamic salad dressing. I didn't have too much of that just because it was like a lot of salad. It was large. And for the main course, they gave you kalbijim, something like that. It was really, really good. It was like steak, like a steak stew almost with vegetables. Oh, it was so delicious. They also gave us between meals cookies and a cheese tray, which was really good. I love cheese. Let's see. Oh, you could also request ramen between meals, but I didn't do that just because I didn't want to take in too much salt while I was up in the air. I wanted to, I don't know, and I felt like like the meals themselves, it was the perfect amount of food for me. The plane had a really cool camera. You could look out the front of the plane or straight down. So no matter where you were, I mean, because you were so high up, you couldn't see things amazingly well, but it was still like really cool to like look down and be like, oh my god, I'm over Russia right now, I'm over Greenland right now. It was awesome. Our flight path went through Canada. It looked like we skirted the Arctic Circle. We went through Russia, China, avoided North Korea at all costs, and then came into Incheon. So I was watching that when we were descending, and it was really cool. I also like to watch on planes a lot, like the flight map, where you can like watch your route, and it tells you like how high up you are and the amount of time left. I think it's a really cool feature. So I was watching that a lot. I put that on when I went to sleep actually, and the lie flat was really, really nice. The seats were, it could have been like a little bit more cushy, but also that's just me nitpicking at that point. I slept for maybe an hour. Could have slept more, but I just couldn't fall asleep. And it turned out in the end probably for the better, because once I got to the hotel, once I got into my room, I would say it was like 8 or 9 p.m. So it allowed me to kind of get my first full night of sleep, although my body kept waking me up throughout the night. So it took me a while to adjust after the jet lag. I would say like a week for me to get on a proper sleep schedule. Once we landed, you have to go through health screening, and I had to talk to like, I don't know, maybe there was like 2 stations for it, and at each station they kind of check your papers. So I had to have a printout of my COVID test negative results. So you show them that and your passport. So I showed them that. At the second station, the guy that I spoke with didn't speak English as fluently as some of the others, so he was a little confused about my situation, and he didn't seem to grasp that I was going to be going to a government facility as opposed to staying with somebody. So he kept calling over his manager, and I was freaking out. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna send me back to my country. Why does he keep calling his manager over? It was a little terrifying. But in the end, it worked out okay. I had to give him the number for a contact at my university, as well as the place that I was going to be staying. So the problem is that I booked the place that I'm staying through Airbnb. So I didn't have a contact number for the host or hostess. I think the person I'm speaking with is a girl there, so the hostess. And he didn't expressly say that he needed the number of the place I was staying originally, so he kind of just looked up the address and called the building, I'm pretty sure. But of course, the person that owns the building doesn't know who I am, because I don't think the person that owns the building is the same person that operates the Airbnb out of that apartment. So that was a little dicey there. I had to explain that it was an Airbnb, but I got through it in the end. They gave me a red tag, and I had to wear the red tag, and I kind of felt like Hester Prynne. I definitely felt a little Scarlet Letter walking through the airport with this red tag. After you get through the health screening and you go through all those phone calls and stuff, you have to go through border control. So I went through, and with my red tag, skated on through border patrol unscathed. So after border control, you pick up your luggage. I got a nice little handcart, and you go through customs. And then after that, you're sorted based on like your tag status. If you have the red tag, you have to go and grab a bus to your quarantine hotel. So I was waiting there for, I would say, like 20 minutes. You kind of have to wait for like a full busload to take you. So the airport itself was actually really beautiful. They had a bunch of planters. I took some video of it. I didn't want the officials to think that I was filming them too much, so I didn't take like a full video, but there was also some trees and some more planters that I didn't catch in the video. It was really like nice. I was not mad about sitting there and just taking a few breaths between all those stations I had to go through. I found a really nice gentleman who had gone through the quarantine process before, and he was kind of explaining to me the whole process, and he told me that after you're done, they drop you off at Seoul Station, and then you can find your way from there. So it was very comforting to speak with somebody that went through it before. He made me feel a lot better. So thanks to the kind man from Philadelphia. We hopped on the bus and we passed by Incheon Airport, and it took us about, I would say, half an hour to get to the quarantine hotel. And then we were waiting for, oh my gosh, like 40 minutes to get off of the bus, even to get into the hotel. I was like falling asleep on this bus. I was so tired at that point. But anyway, I'm going to conclude this video here, and the next video will go more into the quarantine experience. So thanks for watching.